The offseason is over, and it is now time to kick off a new campaign, the 2024 season here at Great American Ballpark, as the Cincinnati Reds are going to be playing host to an NL Central foe in the Milwaukee Brewers. Getting the nod here for the Redlegs on the day is Tyler Mahle making his opening day start. Those are his numbers from last season. And opposing him will be one of the filthiest men in the baseball, Corbin Burnes. Take a look at the Reds lineup listed 1-9 on the day. We'll start things off top half of the first inning. Here with 2 outs, Luis Urias is going to hit a ball down into the right field corner. Brian Anderson gets to it quickly, and Urias thinks he's going to have 2 here easily, but what an absolute cannon from the newly acquired right fielder. Guns him at second base. We now move things on top of the third. It's John Hicks, the new beer maker catcher, who grounds one into right field to keep the inning alive. So now 2 down here. It's going to be a hit into the gap by Joel Avalos, one of the young players here on this Brewers team. And that's going to score Hicks all the way from first base as the Brew Crew strikes first, and they go up 1-0. Mahle would then clutch up, though, as he strikes out last year's big rookie on their team, Garrett Mitchell, to go down for the final out of the inning. Now in the bottom half of the frame, it's Jake Bauers, the first baseman, hitting one over the leaping glove of the right fielder, and it's an easy double to lead off the inning for him, but unfortunately, it was just a disaster inning. Taylor Walls tries to lay on the bunt to move him over. Instead, they get him at third base, trying to move up, so now Walls on first, trying to get himself into scoring position. He goes and tries to steal, but instead is gunned down, stealing, and then Kiermaier would just pop one up into foul territory, third base side, just nothing going there for the Reds. Move things on, bottom half of the fourth now. Robbie Grossman, one of the Reds' newest acquisitions, hitting one down the right field line. That's going to be an easy 2-bagger for him. And then it brings up Jonathan India, who goes down on a filthy cutter. That thing front door just sat there. So now 1 down, runner on second base. Tyler Stevenson slicing one down the right field line. That'll score Grossman from second base. And the Reds have tied this ball game up at 1. Then later on in the inning, it's JD Martinez who's just going to fly one out to right field. This is going to be put away for out number 2, but then Stevenson tries to tag up, and it's a laser from right field, gets him at third base. That's the end of the inning. Move things on, top of the 5th now. Keston Hiura grounds out the shortstop here. Taylor Walls, look at that. What a play from the elite defensive shortstop over there. And then it would be a chopper up the middle, and Jonathan India showing off some glove here, the old backhand stop, and then fire over to first for out number 2. But then Mahle would unfortunately not be able to get out of the inning, as John Hicks, showing off that power stroke as the catcher, puts his team up 2-1 here as the Beer Makers take the lead with the solo shot. We're now on to the bottom of the 7th. It's Jonathan India who hits a scorcher right back up the middle. That's going to land in for a base knock, so he's on first base to kick off the inning. And that would knock Corbin Burnes out of the game as Justin Topa now enters here for the Beer Makers. Those are his numbers from last season. So now with India on first base, he's going to go and swipe second base, show off his fleet feet to get into scoring position. So then Stevenson draws a walk, so now it's first and second here with nobody out for the Reds. Brings up JD Martinez, and unfortunately he's just going to flare one out to left field, not deep enough to tag anybody up. So now 1 down. Brian Anderson then pops it up to the catcher, 2 down, and then it would bring up Nolan Jones, and he just grounds a sinker to Colton Wong over at second base, so still a 2-1 ball game. Ryan Weathers now on here for the top of the 8th for the Reds, and he's going to give up a double to Joel Avalos. That was actually his second inning of work. Tried to get a second inning of work out of him, but instead he's going to come out, and Andrew Chafin, the sheriff, is going to come on for the Reds. The lefty sinker baller working a ground ball at the second base. That would move up the runner, but it is out number 2 in the inning. And then unfortunately, Chafin would not be able to get out of it. He works a ground ball, but it gets through the infield. So now the Brewers are now up 3-1 here in this game, where they will take that lead into the bottom of the 9th, and Devin Williams comes on looking for the save. So Robbie Grossman leading off the inning, gets a good pitch to hit, fastball belt high, just pops it to right field. Then it's Jonathan India. He's going to get himself a hanging screwball, and he's also just going to pop this one up into shallow right field. Colton Wong puts it away, and then it brings up Tyler Stevenson. He gets a fastball up in the zone, and he also pops it up to the right side, put away by the first baseman, and the Brewers win this one here on opening day at Great American Ballpark by a score of 3-1. The Reds' offense just could not deliver enough on the day as they only score 1 run and collect 5 hits as a team. John Hicks, the catcher, was the player of the game. He went 2 for 3 on the day with a home run. Corbin Burns threw 6 innings, only struck out 1 batter, but he did only give up 1 run. Tyler Mahle had a solid day, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 4 strikeouts, did walk 3 guys, gave up 2 runs, which isn't a lot, but like I said, the Reds' offense just did not show up today. Really, the only notable hits was Robbie Grossman and then Tyler Stevenson also both had doubles. Stevenson being the only run driven into the game as he drove in Grossman. So now before we hop into this next game, as you can see on the calendar, we are about to play the New York Mets here. And something that I want to start incorporating this season is taking a look at the teams we're playing, showing what these teams look like now that we're multiple seasons into this series. Teams have made signings, they've traded for guys, they've traded guys away, they've drafted guys who are now up in the big leagues, they've called guys up. So this is just a way of staying updated not only on what the Reds are doing, but also what's going on around the league as well. So if you take a look at the New York Metropolitans roster there, the best players on their team, it's not too much different than it used to be, but there are a couple good names on there. They also have a couple notable young players in their lineup as well. The first one you are seeing is probably Brett Baty. He is a pretty highly touted prospect in real life, and in this universe, he is up playing third base for them. He hasn't gotten too much time in the big leagues, but in those times, he has been very good. He's got a couple cups of coffee, so it looks like he's finally going to get a shot here to play every day for them in the big leagues. They also have Carlos Rincon, who is their 4th outfielder. See potential guy, can really hit, play a decent outfield as well. He was actually quite solid for them last season in that 4th outfielder role. And then on the pitching side of things, they've got Frankie Montas and Michael Pineda as 2 names in their rotation. Old man Max Scherzer is actually now in the bullpen. And then if you take a look at their closer, another former Yankee now playing for the Mets is Chad Green. Once again, here at Great American Ballpark, it is the Reds here in the Natty playing host to the New York Metropolitans. Toeing the slab here for the Reds on the day is the left-hander Logan Allen, making his 3rd career start, and he will be opposed by Tyler McGill, making his 2nd start here in 2024. Take a look at the Reds lineup on the day, listed 1-9, Robbie Grossman in the leadoff spot. We'll start things off top half of the 1st inning. Brandon Nimmo gonna hit a slow chopper at the shortstop. Taylor Walls bare hands and fires a strike over to first base. He continues to impress defensively at the shortstop position. Now we're on to the top of the 2nd, where it's going to be a single off the bat of the polar bear, Pete Alonso. That's going to be base knock to start off the inning there. Then with 2 outs, it would be Gary Sanchez, another one of their former Yankee players, hitting one down the left field line. Alonso would hold up at second base, so it's now 2 on, 2 outs. And then it would be Dom Smith just hitting a line drive right at Taylor Walls. He snags with the cat-like reflexes, and they get out of the inning. Top of the 3rd here, it is now going to be a drive at the deep center field. Kiermaier cannot make the play. That's going to be a double for Carlos Rincon. So he's on second base immediately into scoring position, but then it would be a ground ball worked by Allen. Marte goes down. Then it's Jeff McNeil grounding out to shortstop. 2 down here, runner on second base. And Allen would get out of it as he gets Brandon Nimmo to fly out to right field. Anderson puts it away on the run for the final outs. Taylor Walls now up at the dish here in the bottom of the 3rd, and he rips one right back up the middle. That's going to be a 1-out single for the Reds, and then it would be Kevin Kiermaier powering one out to right center field. This one keeps carrying into the seats. Kiermaier with a little bit of a power stroke there, making it a 2-0 lead here for the Redlegs. We're now on to the top of the fourth, where it is J.D. Davis at the dish with one out, and he's going to bloop one into center field in front of Kiermaier to get himself on base. Then it would bring up Frankie Lindor as he's going to slice one down the right field line into the corner. Davis goes first to third. Lindor has himself a double, so two men in scoring position. The Reds then decide to intentionally walk Gary Sanchez to set up the force at any bag here with one out, and Dom Smith would get that ground ball they're looking for, but he gets it through the infield, so that scores, and now it's a 2-1 game here. And then it would be Carlos Rincon, who they get the ground ball they need one batter later, 5-4-3 around the horn to end the inning. Now we're on to the top of the sixth, where it's Pete Alonso grounding one through the left side of the shift, and that's going to be a base knock to start off the inning. Now with one out, it's Frankie Lindor here, who's going to double yet again, this time to left field. That moves Alonso up to third base. Lindor on second, and they're going to intentionally walk Gary Sanchez again. So the double play possibility is set up here with one out for Dom Smith. Ground ball again. This time they get it. 3-6-1 double play, and the Reds hang on to that 2-1 lead. Jordan Yamamoto came on for the Mets here in the bottom half of the seventh inning, and he would be facing J.D. Martinez, who he proceeds to walk to start off the inning. So immediate base runner for Cincinnati. Brings up Brian Anderson, who is a team player, lays down the bunt. The throw over to second gets away from the second baseman McNeil, and that means everybody is safe. Then Nolan Jones trying to lay down a bunt, and they go to second with that one. They get the second out, or the out at second, but now it's runners on the corners here with one out, and then Jake Bauers draws himself a walk, so the bases are drunk. Here for the Reds, brings up Joe Adell, who comes on to pinch hit, and he would be working a 2-2 count here, chopping one down the third base line, and they cannot get anybody. Everybody is safe. Another run comes in. It's now a 3-1 ball game, but then unfortunately Kiermaier grounds into a 4-6-3 double play, so they only get one run tacked on. They would take that 3-1 lead into the top of the ninth inning, where Lucas Short Leash Sims comes on looking for the save. And he would proceed to do just that as he gets the third out there on a pop-up from Dominic Smith into center field. And the Reds win this one here at home by a score of 3-1, the same score they lost on opening day here at Great American Ballpark. Player of the game honors go to Kevin Kiermaier for his two-run home run that he had in the third inning. Logan Allen had a pretty solid day on the hill as well. 6 innings pitched, gave up 8 hits in those 6 innings, only struck out one batter, got 2 walks, but he only allowed 1 run on the day. So now we are here only a couple days later as we're going to start taking our time to get through seasons here. We're not going to spend, 20 episodes getting through a season, but we're also not going to cruise through in like 5 or 6 like we have been doing. And we are about to take on the Chicago Cubs, so take a look at their roster. Those are the Northsiders this season. Doesn't look too much different, but obviously at the top there is Shohei Ohtani, their big offseason acquisition, coming off both an MVP and Cy Young season with the Los Angeles Angels last year. And then, as you would imagine, he makes their rotation quite strong. He's on the top of it as the ace, and then you have Stroman, Montgomery, and Alzolay right behind them. That's a solid 2 through 4 in their rotation. And then they have a couple of prospects as well, like Braylon Marquez down in AAA, who they just have ready to be called up. Monty has been good with the Yankees in this sim. He's put up 2 decent seasons with them, last year being the better of the 2, and then he's also been great through 3 starts here in 2024. They signed him to a 2-year deal, so we'll be seeing at least a little bit of him on this Cubs roster. Their lineup is pretty much the same, and for whatever reason they don't have Ohtani listed on the lineup. I'm not really sure how the CPU does two-way players, because I don't think they had Ohtani listed on the Angels lineup, but he did play every day. He was getting everyday ABs with the Angels, so I'm not really sure what it does, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get everyday ABs with the Cubs, but I'm not really sure where it's coming from. But like I said, their lineup is pretty much the same. They do have a couple young outfielders, though. Their starting center fielder is Brennen Davis, another highly touted prospect, a potential. He is going to be paying in our sides for quite a few seasons to come here. And then on their bench, they have another guy who looks like to be their fourth outfielder in Pete Crow Armstrong, a B potential. He actually once retired after a half a season after being drafted in one of my OTP saves to go play in the NFL as a defensive end at 6'1", 180 pounds. And then just a quick little update on a couple of our players. JD Martinez, surprise, surprise, has been hot here to start the season. A 909 OPS, already 6 home runs here early on. While Nolan Jones has been the complete opposite. He is cooler than a polar bear's toenails in a bad way. You don't play hockey anymore, young man. You are not wanting to be cold all the time. So now the Reds will hit the road here for a matchup in the NL Central at Wrigley Field up on the north side, taking on the Chicago Cubbies. And then also take a look at the Reds lineup on the day, listed 1-9. We'll start things off top half of the first inning. It's Robbie Grossman leading things off, powering a ball to left center field, and Brennen Davis making a play that a lesser center fielder would not, already being annoying for us. So then Brian Anderson comes up to the dish, and he is going to draw himself a walk as he's hit by pitch, and then Tyler Stevenson lines one into center field. And it's going to be an aggressive send for Anderson as he goes first to third. So now runners on the corners here for JD Martinez. He could not pull the trigger on that perfectly placed curveball for out number 2. And then Jordan Luplow, playing against the left-handed pitching of Monty, pops one up to deep center field for the final out. Top of the second now, Nick Senzel is going to bloop one in front of the left fielder for a base knock to start off the inning. And then that would bring up Austin Barnes. Hit and run is on. He hits one into left center field. Senzel is going to score all the way from first base with his fleet feet, but unfortunately Austin Barnes is gunned down on the back half at second base, so nothing else happens in the inning. Bottom of the second now, it is Nick Lodolo working a ground ball to Taylor Walls, who makes a fantastic play yet again at the shortstop position, and then the inning would come to an end as Schwindel pops up to the center fielder in Kevin Kiermaier. So top of the third now, Robbie Grossman's going to ground one past the diving glove of the third baseman Christopher Morel, and that's going to be a base knock. So then it would be a steal attempt here from Grossman as he goes in and swipes second base to put himself in a scoring position here with Tyler Stevenson at the dish, who chops one past the pitcher and into the outfield. Grossman rounds third, heads home, and scores, gets barely around that tag, and makes it a 2-0 lead here for the Redlegs. Bottom of the third inning now, Christopher Morel grounding into a 5-4-3 around the horn double play started by Brian Anderson playing third here today. And then the inning would come to an end as Nico Horner goes down swinging. Nick Lodolo had it working, but then here at the bottom of the fifth, gives up a single to Seiya Suzuki, so he's on first base. Next batter up is David Bodie. He's going to double into the left field corner, and for whatever reason here, Suzuki decides to go to third as the throw is getting into the relay, and Taylor Walls guns him at the dish. Nothing else would happen in the inning, and then at the bottom of the sixth, Lodolo worked another scoreless frame as he strikes out Nick Madrigal to end that inning. Bottom of the seventh here, things started to unravel a bit for Lodolo. Gives up a Ian Happ single to start off the inning. Next batter up, Seiya Suzuki. Grounds one through the right side of the infield, and then Happ uses his fleet feet to go to first to third on the play. So runners on the corners here with one out, and it's going to be a bloop into right field down the line. Hustling into the corner and bringing it into the cutoff man is the right fielder, and it's going to be a 2-run double there for Bodie. Ties the game at 2. DeAndre Foster now comes out of the bullpen here for the Reds, and he would proceed to give up a single into left field from Frank Schwindel, the New Jersey native, and that gives the Cubs a 3-2 lead in this ball game. We would now take things into the top of the ninth, where Cody Hewer came on looking for the save here for the Cubs. And first batter up is JD Martinez, who says, let's tie this game right now. An absolute blast from JD Martinez. He continues to tear things up here early on in the season, ties the game at 3, and the Reds now still alive in the inning. Joe Adell comes on to pinch hit here, and he's going to line one into center field. That bloops in front of Davis, just barely lands in there for a base knock, so Adell on first base goes and swipes second with his fleet feet to get himself in a scoring position. So Nick Senzel here at the dish with a runner in scoring position, and he's going to ground one left side, though, as that's not going to be able to get the runner up. So he goes down for out number 1. Now it's Nolan Jones coming on to pinch hit here against the right-handed pitcher. And Jones delivers left center field. That lands in, and scoring easily from second base is Joe Adell. Nolan Jones gunned down on the back half at second base, though, but the Reds do take a 4-3 lead here into the bottom of the ninth. Joe Adell came on to play right field. Jake Bowers at first base. And Lucas Shortleash Sims comes on here looking for the save. 5th appearance this season. First batter up blows the fastball right by him in Seiya Suzuki. Next batter up would be David Bodie, also pair of shoes up there on the high fuzz, going down for at number 2. And then it would bring up Frank Schwindel as he pops one up into left center field. Kiermaier camped under it, and that is an easy 1-2-3 inning for Lucas Sims as the Reds battle back in this one, tie it up, and take the lead in the ninth. Cody Hewer blowing the save as the Reds win here at Wrigley Field by a score of 4-3. Player of the game honors go to Lucas Sims for whatever reason, I guess because he had a dominant 9th inning. JD Martinez goes 2 for 4 on the day with a home run to tie it in the 9th off their closer. Joe Adell had a clutch pinch hit single and a steal of second base, and then Nolan Jones had a clutch pinch hit RBI single to drive in the go-ahead run. David Bodie on the day went 2 for 4 for the Cubbies, while Nick Lodolo pitched 6 1/3 innings strong, struck out 5 batters, gave up 3 runs that all came in that 7th inning. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Cincinnati Reds franchise here in MLB The Show 22. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, Yuri is going to be the heavyweight champion tonight.